So we wanted to do something green, festive. We're gonna make some matcha, blueberry cake, muffins. You can make it whatever way you want. Really, really simple, tasty. And we're introducing maybe another new ingredient that you might not be used to or cook often. This is mung bean or moong bean. And it's, again, really, really easy to prepare. You can find this more and more in some of the grocery stores. I've seen it at Loblaws, they have it there. In some of you might have to go to some East Indian stores or...
I've seen it just at my No Frills.
Yeah, so they
have like a huge section of dried beans. Yeah.
So this one here, we're gonna use the flour. Now you can find the flour. It's not as easy to find, but it's really easy to make. So if you can find the mung bean, to make the flour, I just use a coffee mill. I don't use it for coffee though, or if you do, you probably want to clean it out. And we're gonna add our mung bean to the mill. Who's got a coffee mill at home? Okay, some people. These are like $10, $12. They're great to have on hand. I use it for all my spices, for all my mung flour, every time I use it.
They do have these spice grinders now that are expensive. Yeah, so don't worry about it. Go for the coffee one and just use it for your spices and you're good.
So I try not to talk over it, but it takes like 30 seconds. Do your Tom Cruise. And then you have this really nice
instant bean flour.
I can pulse this a little bit more.
There's like bean fumes.
To break it down. But if it is a little coarse and you don't like it coarse, you can always just use a sifter just to separate the flour from more of the coarse meal. So I'm stirring just some regular flour and the mung bean flour together. We're gonna add a little bit of our baking powder, a little pinch of salt. Sort of helps baking, and then our matcha powder. This is because it's St. Patrick's, so you don't have to add this in, but we're gonna add half a cup of milk. You can add any liquid here, so if you prefer almond milk or
goat milk.
Goat milk, sure.
Buffalo milk.
Absolutely.
No. Whatever you like.
And for our sweetener, we're adding maple syrup.
Our Canadian sweetener of choice, and that was part of this sugar discussion that I had before the class too. Basically, adding small amounts to your diet is fine. You want to go for less than 12 teaspoons of added sugar a day.
So we're going to combine the two. Now, most of the time when you're baking, especially with a flour that does have gluten, don't overmix. I think that's one of the common mistakes is that we keep mixing, try to get all those lumps out.
What happens when you do that?
Does anyone? Yeah, exactly, glue. It overworks and then it just becomes a little too gluey or elasticy. So just fold the ingredients in just until the flour has sort of worked its way through the rest of the wet ingredients, and you have sort of a nice even looking batter.
I'm loving the color on this cake so far.
Yeah, really nice and green, and the color's gonna get even better. We're gonna add
more antioxidants.
Frozen blueberries. We've talked about using frozen fruit. Great product to use, especially when we're not growing the fruit fresh. So we're putting it into, this is just a sort of spring pan, but like I said, you can make, if you like muffins in the morning, great batter to use for that.
Do it in a loaf pan,
yeah,
would be great.
And the color is just beautiful, really, really nice. Now it might need a little bit of work, especially if you're using frozen blueberries, because it chills the entire batter immediately. So just sort of spread it around just until you get all the sides.
Otherwise someone will complain they got a bigger piece of cake than someone else if you
Yeah.
don't make it even.
This goes into the oven, 375 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 30 minutes. That's it. There's our giant blueberry.
Our beautiful cake.